Detroit's Red Wing Hockey is brought to you in part by Labatt's. For beer at its finest, call for Labatt's, Canada's #1 beer. And by your Metro Detroit AMC dealers, the only place you can buy Concord, the all-new luxury compact. And by Little Caesars, a winner any way you slice it. And by Bank of the Commonwealth, trying hardest to help.
Hi again, everybody, from the Forum here in Montreal. Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel and Sid last night. Around the table, a group of us sitting, and a sports writer asked Bobby Crum, are you going to try to sort of make up for that 8-0 loss? In other words, get back a little respectability? And Bobby gave him a rather stern look and said, we're going to try and win the darn hockey game and get another one back into Detroit.
Right, and he said that they didn't need any respectability. They have shown their respect to the Canadians, and the Canadians have shown it to the Wings. Bruce, I believe we'll have a terrific hockey game here today because the Wings know that their backs are to the wall. They're down to the one big game that they have to win. And if Ronnie Lowe plays well in the nets, I would think they'll give them a run for it.
Well, the Wings have played against one line that's been very hot the first couple of games. That was Houle and Cournoyer and Mondu. And, of course, in the game at Olympia on Sunday, it was a Lafleur and Lemaire, a combination, and Steve Shutt that came to life. I don't know what's going to happen tonight.
Well, you don't know with the Canadians. They've got 19 players that can score goals. They've got to be checked. The Wings have to play their positions better than they did the other night. And if they do that, I think they can skate with this hockey club. Maybe not all 60 minutes, and they have to hope for some luck.
Well, we'll be back with more, but before that, let's watch this.
Breathe the fresh and wintry air. Watch the snowflakes dancing there and let loose. Anything you do and take along the blue and let it share a smile with you. Nothing really to it, bundle up and do it.
Take the time to see the view.
Every color, every hue and blue smiles along with you. Piling up the hay or hitching up the sleigh on any night of day you can. Make it a time to be happy. Make it a time for a blue smile with a fast blue. Blue smiles along with you. When you think of cheer, you kind of think of beer. When you think of beer, let it be a blue. Labatt's Blue.
I'm the owner of this great-looking car. It's my new AMC Concord DL. And you know, I didn't spend a penny extra for all this luxury. Smart.
Individual reclining seats, plush interior, all standard. Can I pick a luxury compact? Smart.
A smooth, quiet ride. The nicest luxury of all. Standard on my Concord. Smart.
The AMC Concord DL, America's new luxury compact. And its owners?
Smart.
Little Caesars Pizza, nobody loves it like a kid. Fun to eat, nobody loves it like Little Caesars Pizza. Nobody loves it like my favorite treat. Nobody loves it like I do, like I do. Little Caesars Pizza.
Look for our ad in the news and free press TV books for a free pizza.
Well, as Sid Abel said just a few moments ago, this is it. This is do or die for the Red Wings. If they lose here tonight, the season is all over, but it's been a good one. If they should win, and it's not impossible, we found that out a few nights ago here, then it's back to Detroit on Thursday night.
And Bruce, it's not impossible. You know, usually clubs that have their backs to the wall will just put that little extra. I would think the first 10 minutes of this game is going to be the most important 10 minutes to the Wings. They can't afford to get behind this Montreal team because when Montreal score first, they just seem to pour it right on then. If the Wings can score first and get the Canadians confused a little bit, I would think that possibly we'll be going back to Detroit.
Well, what do you know, the first 10, 12 minutes, Sid, it was just common knowledge, and everybody here is talking about the first 12, 13 minutes of that game Sunday at Olympia Stadium in Detroit as being perhaps 12, 13 minutes of the finest hockey we've seen played this season. And then, of course, the dam burst and 8 goals were scored.
Well, it was, how often would that happen? They set a league record scoring 2 shorthanded goals.
24 seconds apart.
Right, you just have to get by killing penalties better than that, or when you have a man advantage.
Well, we'll be finding out what's going to be happening. We'll be back with the opening face-off of this hockey game in just a moment.
All right, Houston, air pressure A-OK, oxygen balance fine, all life support systems functioning normally.
Roger, space station. Proceed to coordinate.
Houston, we have a warning flash on electric circuit scanner Delta 12.
Checking circuits, Delta 12. I think we got it.
Houston, the space station. We've located the problem. Better check out the dishwasher.
The dishwasher. Do you know anything about dishwashers? Look, we know about magnetofluid dynamics, astrobiology. Is there anything you can do to help us?
Hello, Highland. When you buy an appliance or stereo at Highland, Highland backs it up with over 100 servicemen who go out of their way to give you personal, professional service, fast.
Hi, you're the guys who called about the busted dishwasher?
Highland, everything you never expected from an appliance store.
Singing of the national anthems, you look at Wally Harris, the referee, Matt Pavlich and Gerard Gauthier, the 2 linesmen, prior to the start of this game. That's Kenny Dryden, who will be in the nets again for the Montreal Canadiens, a spot that he occupies most all of the time. And at the opposite end of the Forum ice here, the Red Wings continue to alternate goaltenders. Ron Lowe gets the nod this evening. Detroit will start the game with Dennis Hextall at center ice, Nedomansky and Libet on either wing, and John Amell and Terry Harper back along the defense. And the Montreal Canadiens of the play going into the Canadian zone. A quick shot by Dennis Hextall. Canadiens knocked away by Dryden. Canadiens have Rajon Houle, Bob Gainey, and Jarvis. Gainey digging into the Detroit zone. Goes into the corner with it, put it out in front. Rajon Houle working in, he scores! And the Canadiens, after 20 seconds, lead 1-0.
And that is the one thing that the Wings did not want to happen. Big Bob Gainey with a full head of steam cut around the outside of Hamel. Made a perfect pass across to Houle in front. Houle wasn't picked up at all. The shot went right through Ronnie Lake's leg. A beautiful play, but the player was standing out there all by himself, and it went right through Ronnie Lowe's legs.
Getting his second playoff goal. assist at the 22nd mark. Rajan Houle, his second playoff goal after just 20 seconds. Bobby Crom is down there. He is having quite a conversation with the referee, Wally Harris, about something. And he's pretty unhappy. He is really giving it to Harris, and Harris giving it right back. I don't know what that's all about, Sid. Any ideas?
I don't either. It wasn't an offside play.
Oh, I guess a line change that came out in a hurry. At any rate, they lose the argument. Play goes back into the Detroit zone. It's played now by Ron Lowe into the corner. Hextall dumped it deeper along the boards on the left side. Now Hamel's pass center ice to Libet. Lemaire couldn't hold it, but the Canadians clear it back down the ice. Lafleur really digging after it. And as he got there, that negated an icing. Lafleur is checked off the puck, knocked down by Libet. And Terry Harper moves out. Center ice to Hextall, now to Nedemansky. Libet tips it into the Canadian end. Savard goes in after it. Serge Savard playing it to the opposite corner. Here now a quick pass coming out. Down the ice, Lemaire. Lemaire heading in. Lemaire right out in front. And it was knocked away. Play goes in behind the Detroit net. Now Steve Shutt plays it back on the line to Robinson. In the corner to Shutt again, right out in front. And Harper had Lafleur tied up. Wings bring it back out center ice. Paul Woods with it. Now Woods checked by Lafleur. The puck slapped back out center ice. Dale McCourt played it back into his own zone, and Tommy Bergman turns out. Tommy Bergman's pass. Woods got it over the line, and McCourt couldn't reach it. It rolls back out center ice. Tommy Bergman flipped it back in, off to the side of the Montreal goal. Here now Larry Robinson. Clearing it over on the right side to Cournoyer. His pass broken up by Reed Larson. The wings start back. Larson trying to work around Robinson. Put it out in front. It came back to Paul Woods. He faked the shot, goes to the corner with it. Savard fell down, but that puck is trapped to the boards by his skate, and they'll keep the play to the right of the Montreal goal.
A surprising thing, Bruce, the fact that the Canadians would score in 20 seconds, yet the very first rush of the game, Dennis Hextall come awful close to scoring. Dryden had to make a real big save on a misplayed puck by the Montreal defense. But Gainey, with his skating ability, the wings have to be so careful because he can get around the outside. Then he makes the plays back through the slot. And if they're not picked up, they're in trouble.
I'd like to know what Bobby Crom was so excited about. He was really unhappy.
I think it's something to do about line changes. I didn't see anything happen. After all, in 20 seconds, I don't think there was a line change at that time.
Unless somebody started the wrong line. Now the play is in the Montreal zone. Woods dumped it off to the side of the Canadian goal. It goes to the corner. Canadians move out with it. Houle, a pass ahead to Jarvis. 2-on-1. He's got Gainey with him. And Reed Larson knocked it away from Jarvis. Play stays in the Canadian end. They jam it in along the boards, and the face-off will be to the left of Ron Lowe.
Well, the Wings cannot play hockey like that. They cannot let the Canadians have 3-on-1 breaks here in the first couple of minutes of the game, because Montreal will fill that net if they're going to make mistakes. They've got to make up their minds. They're going to pick up their wings, come back and forth, and give the defenseman a chance to stay up at the blue line.
Face-off will be to the left side of the Detroit goal. Now Detroit with Errol Thompson, San Laurent, and Polonich. Reed Larson stays back along the defense with Tommy Bergman. LaRouche is out with Gainey and Houle. San Laurent won the draw. Errol Thompson bringing it out center ice. It skipped away from him. Bill Nyrop at his own blue line. Wheels it back now to Houle. Houle's pass picked up by Gainey going into the Detroit zone. It was knocked away by Larson. Wings failed to get to it at center ice the first time. Here's San Laurent. He couldn't get it over the line. Checked by LaRouche. San Laurent back at center ice. Wheeling it back to Reed Larson. It slid back into the Detroit zone. Now tipped to the Montreal end with Nyrop heading back after it. Bill Nyrop being chased by San Laurent. Canadians will bring it out. Center ice pass to LaRouche into the Detroit zone. Larson moved in, took it away from him. Now San Laurent, Larson. Reed Larson at center ice for the Wings. Firing it off the boards, off to the side of the Montreal goal, and Nyrop cleared it back out center ice. Picking it up is Gainey. Three-man rush for the Canadians. Gainey fired a long shot. Harper goes into the corner after it. Quick pass ahead to San Laurent. It's skidded through to Polonich. Polonich, though, is checked by Steve Shutt. Shutt heads over the line with Lemaire. Into the Detroit zone. Drops it back at the point. Here's Larry Robinson with it. He put it right out in front. And Steve Shutt fired the shot, and it looked like Lowe got a piece of that to knock it away, and Shutt was wide open. Puck came back to the line. There's a shot knocked away. Engblom fired it, and Lowe made the save. Puck stays, though, still deep in the Detroit zone. Lafleur dropping it off for Shutt. Shutt being checked by Saint Laurent. Comes back to Robinson with a shot. That's deflected right on. And Lowe kicked it away. Now it came back to the line. Robinson hands it back on the right point to Engblom. He dumped it into the opposite corner. Harper goes in after it. He fires it all the way down the ice, and there'll be an icing call as the Canadians go back after it. So a pause in the action. 1-0 Montreal. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's here, a very special beer from Labatt's. Labatt's Special Light, naturally brewed beer with 1/3 fewer calories than our regular beer. Labatt's Special Light, a very special beer brewed for lightness, refreshing, less filling beer with real Canadian beer taste. Labatt's Special Light, a very special beer.
Face-off will be to the right side of Ron Lowe. Canadians lead 1-0. The goal at the 22nd mark by Rajan Houle. Lupien played it off to the side of the Detroit net. Ron Lowe dumped it into the corner. Larry Giroux couldn't get to it. It came right out in front, but it's tipped away by Libet. Now Netamansky and Hextall. Netamansky over the line. That's as far as he got. Canadians clear it back out center ice. Giroux lost it. Here's Cornway. He fired the shot. Cameron got a piece of it. It's loose out in front, and it slid just to the open side of the net. Off the stick of Lambert. Lupien stopped it at the blue line with a shot right on, and Lowe kicked that out. Now Nick Libet, his pass broken up by Lambert. Cornway circling back to the Detroit net, out in front, and Hextall covered up. Dennis Hextall turning in behind his own goal. Now here's Nick Libet. Hextall was jammed. There's going to be a penalty coming up on the delayed call. Libet carried to the line. Cornway took it away, but the penalty will be called, and the Red Wings are going to have the first power play chance. So a pause in the action. Montreal leads it 1-0, and we'll be back in just a moment.
We're at the Thomas Mall in Phoenix, Arizona, to see how people compare the new AMC Concord DL with the latest Volare Sport Coupe.
It's got a lot more class than the Volare.
I said this would be $800 to $1,000 more, and it should be.
$1,200 more. The Concord is actually priced less than the Volare. How about that?
It's unbelievable. That's amazing. I didn't even think they build a car like that for that price anymore.
Wrap it up. I'll take it home.
The new AMC Concord DL, the luxury Americans want, the value Americans need.
Well, Cornway just went after Hextall and got the stick hooked in between Hextall's legs and whatnot, and turned him completely around. Harris had to give a penalty on it. The first opportunity for the Wings to see if they can get back in the game.
Cornway for hooking at 4 minutes, 44 seconds. Reed Larson put it out in front and went off the skate of Hextall. At the line, Dale McCourt with a shot, and Dryden grabs that and holds on to it. The second Red Wing shot of the game. Canadians have 5, and they lead 1-0. Face-off in the circle to the left of the Montreal net. Dennis Hextall, Libet, and Netamansky with Larson and McCourt at the points on the power play. Puck wasn't dropped by the linesman Gauthier. They'll go through it again. Jarvis, penalty killer along with Gainey. Savard rolled it along the boards. A pass was knocked down by Libet, who holds it in. They jam it inside the Canadian line. It came loose. Hextall slid it into the corner. Savard goes in, chased by Netamansky, wheeled it over to the opposite side. Larson tying up Jarvis, and they hold it to the boards. A face-off stays, the rim of the circle off to the left of Ken Dryden. And 1 minute and 33 seconds remain in the penalty time to Yvan Cornway. It was Houle's goal, set up by Gainey at the 22nd mark. On a rink-wide, or rather rink length, there's John Ziegler, the president of the National Hockey League. Quite a talk with him today outside the hotel. Now the play coming back out center ice, back at his own blue line. Reed Larson, his pass knocked down by Risebrough, shoots it back into the Detroit end. Wings have 1 minute and 20 seconds still to go in the penalty time to the Canadian player Cornway. Dale McCourt, a long pass. Netamansky brings it out center ice to Libet over on the left side. Hextall. Hextall pulls up looking for somebody, being checked though, and was knocked away from him, sent down the ice by Lee Lapointe. And Larson will go back after it. Reed Larson pulling away from Risebrough's check. Now to Hextall, moving out center ice again. Dennis Hextall firing it into the corner in the Canadian zone. Nedemansky goes in after it, played it back to Larson, a weak shot, knocked away by Guy Lapointe out in front of the net, and he clears it down the ice again. The Wings have 40 seconds remaining in their power play. Now it's Larson coming out with a pass to Hextall. Dennis Hextall, it went over the line, stopped right there. Guy Lapointe sends it back out, and McCourt drove it in behind the Montreal net. Dryden stops it, and the Canadians Lapointe with it again, and again he just fired it. Gainey, it went off his skate, stayed in the Montreal zone. Polonich with a shot, and he fired that about 30 rows up into the crowd behind the Montreal net. Went off a Canadian player's stick, so the face-off will stay inside the circle.
And the Wings have not had a shot on net in this penalty to Cornwire as yet. But there's one thing, too. Montreal have not scored, while Detroit have had the man advantage, as they did break the game wide open in Detroit the other night.
Saint Laurent, puck came back toward the line, but Gainey took it. Now here's Gainey heading out. Shouldn't have said that, Sid. They came close to getting a 2-on-1 break. Wings come right back. Thompson over the line. He was checked before he could get through. It bounces back out center ice. Back after it, Dennis Polonich. Polonich heading back in. He dumped it into the corner again. The penalty is over. Cornwire coming back on, and he bounced all the way to him. Here's Cornwire picking it up into the Detroit end with a shot that was way wide. Lemaire will hold it in. He put it out in front, and Gainey was there and just couldn't reach the pass. Dennis Polonich turning in off to the side of his own goal now. Polonich starting out. Slid it out center ice. Saint Laurent hands it off to Thompson. And his return pass too far for Polonich. And the Canadians will bring it back out. Cornwire down the right side. Lambert coming up. The pass to Lambert, and Giroux tied him up. There's going to be a penalty coming up to Giroux. Play stays on the delayed call in the Detroit zone. Now Saint Laurent will play it. And the penalty will be whistled down, and Giroux will go off. So again, a pause in the action with a score. Canadians leading 1-0. We'll be back in just a moment.
How does the Bank of the Commonwealth help me? Well, I got my checking and my savings there. But more important, when I need help, they really understand me. I mean, this guy here, he's studying law, and this bum, oh, he's into medicine. I mean, every old man wants his kid to do better than he did. So, between my back and my bank, my kid's got a future. Hey, Doc, start operating.
Trying hardest to help. That's the Bank of the Commonwealth.
My son, the judge.
For your customized advertising and promotional needs, including pens, glassware, desk accessories, T-shirts, lighters, imprinted golf and sportswear, you call Alex at 534-4800. Larry Giroux picking up the penalty. Off for interference at 7 minutes and 21 seconds. Dale McCourt and Paul Woods out as penalty killers. McCourt won the draw, and Harper shoots it out center ice. Canadians Lafleur brings it right back in. Guy Lafleur going to the corner, turned around by Reed Larson. The two of them hold the puck up there. It was then kicked in to the opposite corner, and Harper lifts it high in the air and sends it down the ice, and they've used up 20 seconds of Giroux's penalty time. 1-0, Montreal leads at the goal at the 22nd mark of this first period. Now moving out, LaRouche heading over the line into the Detroit zone, right out in front, and he was hooked that time. This puck was loose in front of the net. Lafleur missed an open net, and finally Ron Lowe reaches out and grabs it. Guy Lafleur will never have a better chance at it.
I can't believe that he would miss it, because Ronnie Lowe was flat on his back. The puck was just sitting out there for him. But LaRouche makes quite a rush. He goes right through the middle of the defense. The wing defense, right, he got hooked as he went to shoot. But the wing defenseman, instead of making sure they got their body to the man, or they're stick checking, and you're not going to stick check this club.
Now Lafleur back along the blue line, hands it to Robinson, back to Lafleur. He tried to set up LaRouche. Paul Woods tipped it away. It came back to Robinson. He faked the shot. Now he drives it. That deflected wide of the net. Lafleur let a shot go, and Lowe kicks that out. Rajan Houle takes it in behind, put it out in front. And it was Paul Woods. He's tripped. There's going to be a penalty coming up to Montreal, as Steve Shutt let a shot fly just at the whistle and went over to apologize to Ron Lowe after. So LaRouche will go in, and now Detroit and Montreal will each be short a man with 58 seconds remaining in the penalty time to Larry Giroux.
Well, LaRouche really got a hold of Paul Wood's leg just as Paul went to skate out with the puck. He would have had no problem clearing the puck, but LaRouche turned around and hooked him right down near his skate and just pulled his feet right from under him.
8 minutes and 23 seconds.
So each team now will be short a man for 58 seconds, the time remaining in the penalty to Larry Giroux. The only goal scored, that by Rajan Houle from Gainey at the 22nd mark on the first rush the Canadians have had this evening. Now with each team short a man, Dennis Hull is out with J.P. LeBlanc. Tommy Bergman and Jean Hamel. The play goes in behind the Detroit net with Bergman in after it. Swinging it along to LeBlanc. He was checked to the boards by Robinson. Still worked the puck out to center ice, and Riseborough comes back after it. Now Riseborough cleared it into his own zone. LeBlanc went in, tipped it away. Canadians picked it up. Hamel dumped his man. The Canadians didn't care much for that. And here's LeBlanc dropping it off for Dennis Hull. Now Dennis Hull and J.P. LeBlanc, the two of them heading over the line. Hull whipped the shot, and that's knocked away by Dryden. Hull put it right to the goal crease, and that was cleared away. Canadians start back down the ice. Rather into the Detroit zone. Mondu handing it off to Robinson. Robinson goes to the corner with it. Now Larry Robinson right out in front of the net. Didn't take the shot. Hands it back instead to Engblom. He shot wide. Off the board. Stopped at the line by Robinson in the corner to Mondu. And behind the net, Hamel battles Riseborough for it. It came back to the line. Engblom with another shot. That was blocked by LeBlanc. Picked up by Mondu. And J.P. LeBlanc came back to tie up Engblom and take it away. Now a penalty coming up to Jean Hamel as for some reason he just reached over and dumped Riseborough right out in front of the referee.
This is a bad penalty to take. Ronnie Lowe was tied up with Riseborough, and they were doing a little pushing as Riseborough was fighting for a spot in the corner of the net. But John Hamel just come over and give him a big push and knocked him flat on his back. Riseborough was trying to gain position, and Hamel has kept hammering away at him, then finally knocked him down with the play in Detroit's possession. You just can't afford to take penalties like that. The Wings had possession of the puck and were coming out with it.
Well, there are 51 seconds remaining now in the penalty time to LaRouche. And Hamel will go off, 9:32.
Penalty number 5, Jean Hamel, 2 minutes for cross-checking at 9 minutes, 32 seconds.
So the Wings lose their power play advantage and will have for a little more than a minute. The Canadians will have the extra man. Referee Wally Harris having called 4 penalties, all minors and 2 aside. Here now is Netamansky breaking down the ice. He's got Libet with him. They're 2-on-1. Netamansky over the line with a shot. He scores! And the Wings have tied the game at 1-1.
And let me tell you, he didn't get too much on that shot, and I think that's what fooled Dryden. Dryden knows Netamansky from playing in European hockey. Netamansky let on he was really going to fire it, and he didn't get too much wood on it. It just slid along the ice. Little floater that, well, maybe could get up a foot or two, but it beat Dryden cleanly on the far side. It's an unbelievable goal because Netamansky can fire him with the best, but it was accurate, I'll say for that.
Netamansky, who leads the Red Wings in scoring in the playoffs, has his 3rd goal now.
At 9 minutes, 40 seconds.
Unassisted goal for Netamansky at 9 minutes and 40 seconds to tie the game, and Scotty Bowman looks up at the clock. Now Hextall and Libet move out. There are 36 seconds remaining in the penalty to LaRouche. He'll come out. And then Canadians will have the extra man for a little more than a minute. Nick Libet turning away from Jarvis, played it in behind his own goal. Harper being chased by Gainey. Gainey knocked him off the puck. Jarvis digs it off the boards. Played it back now to Lapointe. It came to center ice, and he shot it back in offside. So the play comes out over the Detroit blue line. Wings, of course, continuing to play without the services of Perry Miller as they did the latter quarter of the season with that broken shoulder. And Greg Jolly, who they miss a great deal, Sid, with that broken wrist. And
well, Bruce, I would think they miss, well, of course, they miss Perry Miller very much because Perry Miller was one of their better body checkers back at the blue line, but they certainly miss Greg Jolly because of his stick handling and puck carrying ability. And he's the type of hockey player you need against the Canadians because he can bring the puck out of his own zone so well.
Now Dale McCourt, Paul Woods, Larson, and Tommy Bergman for Detroit. Here's a quick pass. Woods takes it into the Montreal zone. He took the shot. That deflected off the point into the corner. Woods went in with Robinson. They jam it. Here's Woods getting it loose. Paul Woods in behind the Canadian net, and then Robinson really belted into the boards. Puck bounced off to the side of the net. Robinson fell on top of it, and he holds it there, and Paul Woods was doing some kind of work on Big Larry Robinson.
Paul Woods come fairly close to having that puck bounce off one of the Montreal players. Dryden could come out, and it hit the side of Dryden's pad and could have really bounced back in the net, but it bounced back alongside of the net again, and Robinson was sitting on it.
So LaRouche is out in 1 second. Face off in the circle on the Montreal zone. Here's a pass coming back to Reed Larson with a shot, and Dryden got just a piece of that. Came back out center ice. Tony Bergman failed to hold it, but then Lafleur shot it right up into his bench. I tell you, Larson had a pretty good crack at it.
Well, Reed Larson, in the first 3 games of this series, probably only had 2 or 3 good shots, and that was probably as good a shot as he's had in the entire series.
Face off out over the Montreal blue line. 1 minute and 2 seconds remaining in Hamel's penalty. Well, they say it went off the goalpost. Reed Larson's shot. At any rate, Guy Lapointe now brings it back out center ice. That was stopped by Harper. He cleared it back into the Montreal zone, with Lemaire back after it, turning in behind his own net. He drops it off for Larry Robinson. Robinson, checked by Woods, is turned around. Lapointe will try it. Canadians coming out now to center ice. Here's Steve Schutt's pass to Lafleur over on the right side into the Detroit zone. Guy Lafleur out in front. It was kicked away from him and comes to center ice. And the Canadians have to come back onside with a half a minute left in the penalty, and the Montrealers move in again. Here's Steve Schutt out in front, and he's shot wide. Puck right out in front, and it's jammed in by Guy Lapointe, who came in and took the rebound off the boards and fired it in. A power play goal. It's 2-1 Montreal.
Well, the Wings got a bad break there. The puck was shot real hard, missed the net entirely, and bounced straight back off the boards, come out the other side. Ronnie Lowe never got turned around in time. He was still playing the puck that went by the right post, and he was turned the wrong way entirely when Lapointe just put it in the empty net from a bad angle.
So it bounced from Montreal that time, and Guy Lapointe whipped it in. A power play goal. Robinson also draws an assist on the goal, along with Schutt, who had fired that shot that came off the boards right back to Lapointe. Now Montreal moving out again. Pierre Mondu into the Detroit zone with a shot wide of the net. In behind his own goal, Tony Bergman. He played a short pass to Dennis Polonich. Polonich failed to hold it, but it was Saint Laurent that came in and kicked it loose. Polonich broke his stick. The play is in the Detroit zone, and Al Cameron scoops it down the ice. They waved off the icing. It gives Polonich a chance to go back for a new stick. And we have 8 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the first period. 2-1 Montreal. Now the Canadians coming out center ice. Lambert's pass goes into the Detroit end. Polonich in after it. He lost it. It goes in behind the Detroit net. Harold Thompson went in after it. Didn't get to it. It slid off to the side of the Detroit goal. So Ron Lowe goes in to grab it. The pause in the action. The score, Montreal 2, Detroit 1. Will return in just a moment.
Labatt's introduces a bright new light. Labatt's Special Light, naturally brewed beer with 1/3 fewer calories than our regular beer. Labatt's Special Light, a very special beer brewed for lightness, refreshing, less filling beer with real Canadian beer taste. Labatt's Special Light, a very special beer.
Saint Laurent skating around, getting ready for the face-off. 8 minutes, 6 seconds still to go in the first period. Saint Laurent goes in against LaRouche. LaRouche tried to take a shot from the face-off, knocked down by Hamel. Now Polonich heads out. Harold Thompson on the left side. Puck went off to Thompson. He took it in behind the net, but he was checked right there, and Guy Lapointe swings it along the boards. Canadians come out with it. For Jean Houle's pass, LaRouche was stopped by Harper. Now Terry Harper sends Saint Laurent over the line, but Harold Thompson was offside down the right wing. And they'll come back out over the Canadian blue line for the face-off. 2-1, Montreal leads. And a power play goal by Lapointe right now, the difference. Terry Harper, who has been a mainstay along the Detroit defense this season. Play comes back out center ice with Jean Hamel. Driving it in behind the Montreal goal again, Dryden. Played it to his defenseman, Naira. Bill Nyrop holding it back there, now starts out. Here's Nyrop playing it off the boards. Polonic stopped it at center ice. A long pass, but Rouge broke that up. Knocked away from him by Errol Thompson. Canadians clear it back to the Detroit blue line, and Harper, his pass bounced off Errol Thompson. Thompson came back into his own zone to drop it off for Jean Hamel. Center ice to Polonic. Now to Saint Laurent over on the left side. Hamel couldn't reach it as Steve Shutt turns it out now. And LaRouche trying to work around Harper. Harper had him tied up. LaRouche got it a second time, played it back to Lapointe. He bounced it in behind the Detroit net. Jean Hamel goes in after it. Now Hamel worked it ahead to Polonic, still in the Detroit zone. Dennis Polonic gave it away. Here's Shutt. He hands it back to LaRouche. Now to Nyrop from the line. And Lowe broke that up. Polonic picks it up again. Cleared it this time to Saint Laurent. Libet coming up with him, but Lafleur took it away. Now Lafleur has Lemaire over the line with a shot, and Lowe kicked that to the corner. Shutt and Hamel go in after it. Hamel took Shutt off the puck, and it comes to the opposite side. Harper in after it. Cleared it off Polonic to center ice. Canadians with a rolling puck. Larry Robinson being checked by Saint Laurent. Played it to the Detroit blue line. Harper and Shutt have the sticks up high. Here's Hamel turning away from Lemaire. His pass broken up. Lemaire holds it outside the line, waiting for Shutt to come back onside. John Hamel gave Shutt a bump, and Hamel or Shutt, or maybe the both of them, are going to go off. Wait and see. It's going to be an interference call, I believe, to Shutt. So a pause in the action with a score 2-1 Montreal. We'll be back in just a moment.
Little Caesar's Pizza, tastiest in town. A winner and we slice it all the way around.
The carry-outs are good and hot, great for nighttime snacks. Or sit down at Little Caesar's, just order and relax.
If you want variety, there's a family in for you. It's a winner, come in and see Little Caesar's.
Look for our ad in the news and free press TV books for a free pizza.
Steve Shutt off for interference at the 13:43 mark.
They had bounced one another around quite often, and just inside the blue line, and Shutt turned around and took a backhanded slap at him, interfered with Jean Hamel, and got a penalty for it.
So the play comes back into the Detroit zone. The Wings again using Reed Larson. The puck came loose, and Riceboro fired a quick shot, and Lowe was sharp on that. But the rebound came all the way back out center ice, and Guy Lapointe has it there. Shooting it back into the Detroit zone. It's 2-1 Montreal with 6 minutes to go in the first period. Wings have the extra man for 1:40. Larson in his own zone. Larson being bothered by Riceboro. Finally, it's Hextall who moves in, and they're still deep in the Detroit end. Hextall in behind his own net, and Jarvis knocked it away from him. Then Hextall took Jarvis in along the boards. They hold it. And the Canadians, with Riceboro and Jarvis, doing quite a job. Riceboro and Hextall threaten each other a bit.
Well, the Canadians send their forwards in real deep when they're killing penalties, and you just can't stand still when you have the puck. You've got to keep moving. The Wings were guilty. Larson just was standing still, trying to deke them out of position, but well, they throw a 1-2 punch at you all the time.
Riceboro and Hextall did a little jabbing back and forth. Nothing came of it. Tommy Bergman comes out replacing Larson now. Here's Netamansky, swings a pass over on the left side to Libet, coming out center ice. Back it comes now to Tommy Bergman, ahead to Dale McCourt. McCourt drove it into the corner in the Canadian end. Guy Lapointe got a stick on it. Libet knocked down his clearing pass, came right back to Lapointe, and he shoots it by everybody down the ice. Back after it, Ron Lowe cleared it out on the right side. Dale McCourt's pass didn't come out. Now it's brought back out by Lemaire. And the Canadians shoot it again deep into the Detroit end with 50 seconds remaining in the penalty time. Dale McCourt in behind his own goal. Now McCourt's pass to Netamansky. Netamansky sends it off to Dennis Hull. Here's Hull over the line to the Canadian zone. Dennis Hull took a shot, knocked away by Dryden. Tommy Bergman couldn't keep it in. It comes back out with McCourt back after it. McCourt hands it to Hextall back at the Detroit blue line. Hextall turns. Dennis Hextall played it in the Canadian zone. Montreal broke it up, didn't get it out. Here's Netamansky. He tried to get it through to Hull. That's broken up, though, and Guy Lapointe again swings it down the ice. And the Wings come back after it. I'll tell you, Dennis Hull is no stranger to power play goals or to goal scoring in playoffs. Tommy Bergman played it ahead now. Dale McCourt, a rolling puck over the line. He knocks it down, but he's tied up immediately by Lambert, and Savard heads back out from Montreal. Here's Serge Savard. Lambert into the Detroit zone. Lambert with a shot, and Lowe stops that. He'll hold on to it as the penalty is over. And the Canadians are back at full strength, and Detroit really didn't threaten. This is a little reminiscent, Sid, of that first game in which the second game actually played here, in which Montreal outshot the Wings, outplayed them in the first period, and Detroit came back, played well in the second and third.
Right. The Canadians have already had 13 shots in this period. The Wings have had 6. Ronnie Lowe has been called upon to make some pretty good saves.
Here's Mondu out in front with a shot knocked away by Lowe. Cournoyer dug it out. J.P. LeBlanc tied him up. Mondu takes it into the corner again. Skated it back out to the blue line, hands it off to Engblom with a shot, knocked away by Lowe. Now coming back, Dennis Hull kicked it out to center ice, picked up by Paul Woods. He just failed to get loose. And the Canadians' Larry Robinson swings it over on the right side in his own zone to Engblom. Engblom sent it back out. Lambert heads into the Detroit zone. Harper tipped it away from him. And Lambert and Harper did some extra bumping. Engblom swinging it in behind the Detroit goal again as Terry Harper goes in after it. Along the boards on the right side for Woods. His pass didn't come out, deflected to Cournoyer. But Harper knocked that away. Now here's J.P. LeBlanc heading out and went off his skate. Dennis Hull picked it up, clearing it into the Montreal zone. And Larry Robinson, he starts Mondu out. A quick pass just too far for Lambert. Jean Hamel will head in after it, going in behind his own net. Now Hamel starts out. John Hamel bringing it out to center ice. He played it behind LeBlanc. Canadians will bring it right back. Steve Shutt heading in after it. Harper beat him to it. Terry Harper skating it in behind his own goal. 3 minutes to go in the first period. Harper's pass skipped off Lafleur. Now it's Errol Thompson picking it up, trying to go through. Thompson dropped it off for Saint Laurent with a shot right on and a big save by Dryden. Dennis Polonich goes into the corner after it. Played it back in the net to Saint Laurent. Lafleur dumped Polonich. Saint Laurent turning with it, trying to work away from Engblom. And Engblom took him in along the boards, and it's Lemaire now. Jacques Lemaire ahead to Steve Shutt over on the right side. Lafleur into the Detroit zone. He has Lemaire coming in. Lemaire took the shot. A weak one went behind the net. In deep, Larry Robinson goes into the corner, put it right out in front. It's bouncing around dangerously and finally cleared away by Reed Larson. Larson out on the right side for Polonich. It came out center ice with the Canadians after it. Now Guy Lafleur shoots it right back in. It goes back to the Detroit net. Tommy Bergman working away from Steve Shutt. Clears it now to Errol Thompson. On the right side, Polonich didn't get the pass, so Thompson went after it, banged it into the Montreal end. Guy Lapointe is going to shoot it the length of the ice, but it goes right to the Detroit goal, so there's no icing. Tommy Bergman of the wing starting out. A long pass to Polonich. Dennis Polonich hemmed in by Gainey. They jam it in along the boards and hold it for a face-off just over the Detroit blue line. So a pause in the action with a score. Montreal 2, Detroit 1. We'll be back in just a moment. See CB Specialist for the complete line of CB's car stereo equipment and Fuzzbuster radar detectors. 4 convenient locations to serve you, so when you want the best, see CB Specialists. The new size hot dog from Peschke's featured at your Chatham Food Center this week. The Peschke new size hot dog available at Chatham. Gift certificates for our interviewed guests are provided by Osmond's Menswear. Osmond's with 5 locations: Tel 12 Mall, Southfield, Westbourne Mall, Dearborn, Tel Huron Center, Pontiac, Tech Plaza, Warren, and Meadowbrook Village Mall in Rochester. 1 minute, 47 seconds to go here in the first period. Canadians lead it 2-1. Play goes back into the Detroit zone. Jean Hamel chased in along the boards by Jarvis. Jarvis got the puck loose, then Hamel takes him into the boards a second time. Bob Gainey, he's being checked by Billy Lahad. They hold the puck off to the side of the Detroit goal, and the face-off in the circle to the right of Ron Lowe. The Canadians at this point have outshot Detroit 16-7. They scored at the 22nd mark on the goal by Rajan Houle. And then the power play goal after the Red Wings had tied the game on Nedomansky's goal. On the face-off, that puck bounced off to the side of the net, and Houle fired it right through the goal crease. It came loose again. Houle with a bouncing puck turned around with it and slid it wide of the net again. Gainey took it off the boards, and Hamel finally picks it up and shoots it out center ice. Canadians clear it back into the Detroit zone. Boy, they came close. The play went back in offside. Sid Abel leaves our side right now and heads down to the ice area where he'll be talking with Dennis Hextall. in a live interview between the first and second periods. We have 1 minute and 13 seconds to go, still in this, the first period. The Wings trying to battle back, force a 6th game in the quarterfinal round of Stanley Cup play. They won the last game played between these two teams here at the Forum in Montreal. Dennis Hextall won the face-off. Tommy Bergman hands it off to Larson. Larson took a whack at it. Netamansky was checked. It rolls to the opposite side, and Tommy Bergman, Gainey bothering him. Larson has trouble, finally gets it out center ice. Lapointe at his own blue line, wrapped it ahead for Jarvis. Now Canadians move in, the play onside. Gainey goes in after it, played it back to the line. There's a shot by Lapointe, and Lowe knocked that away. Rajan Houle played it in behind the Detroit net, and Tommy Bergman goes in after it. He rolled it along the boards. Dennis Hextall met by Rajan Houle, but Hextall stayed up when Houle went down. Netamansky's pass skipped out to center ice, 35 seconds to go in the period. Hextall intercepts, but Houle came in, took a bouncing puck away from him. Now Reed Larson battling Lambert for the puck. It bounced loose to Hextall deep in his own zone. He fired it. It'll be kept in, though, by Cournoyer. Cournoyer rolling in behind the Detroit goal. Out in front of the net, Lambert and Larson battling each other. There's a shot wide of the goal by Nyrop. Libet couldn't get to the rebound. It stays deep in the Detroit end. 10 seconds to go in the period. They take it in along the boards. Netamansky got it loose the first time. Still no whistle. It comes back now to Nyrop. Nyrop with a shot. Low the save. And it slides right to him, and he sits on it as the siren goes to end the first period of action that sees Montreal outshoot Detroit 18-7, but lead by only a goal, 2-1. So that's it. The end of the first period of play with a score. Montreal Canadiens 2, the Detroit Red Wings 1.
Winter skies and countrysides, grab a dream and take a ride. Leave behind those worldly cares and follow the open air. And when you hear those friendly sounds, it's good times all around.
It's a good time and you're happy. It's a good time for a blue.
Time for smiling, sailor that's blue. Blue smiles along with you.
Guess who's the family chauffeur? Me, but I love it. I get to drive our four-wheel drive Jeep Cherokee. It gives me confidence to go anywhere, even when things get a little difficult and those rocks won't stop. My Cherokee's got fantastic ground clearance and traction. Just watch my Jeep Cherokee take this hill, so I can even come way up here to pick up Ginny. Hi, did everyone have fun? Yeah. So did I.
Jeep Cherokee, 2-door or 4-door. We wrote the book on 4-wheel drive.
Did you know that adventurous life is still a prime reason for men and women to join today's Army? I'm Colonel Ed Stokey, commander of Detroit's Army Recruiters, and I can tell you about adventure. Adventure means ranger training, learning electronics, investigation, or physical fitness. For others, it's the opportunity to travel. We guarantee your choice of adventure with our 12-month delayed entry program. Why not make it your personal adventure today? Call me at 964-0600 or contact your local Army recruiter.
So we are back here at the Forum in Montreal, having played 20 minutes of hockey. Some fine work by Ron Lowe in the Detroit net. He knocked away all but 2 of the 18 shots fired at him by the Montreal Canadiens. A goal at the 22nd mark by Rajan Houle on the first rush of the hockey game for Montreal. And then that power play goal by Guy Lapointe at 11:09 after Netamansky had scored with each team short a man in between. 18-7, Montreal out shooting Detroit. 2-1, the Canadiens lead. Well, the captain of the Detroit Red Wings, Dennis Hextall, now down around the ice level, joins Sid Abel.
Well, thanks, Bruce. Dennis, you have 1 period under your belt. You're down 2-1, but I thought you played pretty well. Do you still feel that we're going to go back and play another game in Detroit?
Well, we feel as a team that we had a good chance coming in here, and I think the first period we're checking better than we did the other night. We seem to be containing them a little more, and the big thing is getting through the first period and keeping them down, you know, and if you take that skating game away from them, which we feel we have right now, I think we have, And we feel that, with 40 minutes to go now, we got a good chance of winning as they do.
Dennis, I was going to ask the difference between playing here in Montreal. The boards are different, the end boards are different. They got a real break on their second goal. The puck was shot, missed the net, and come right out the other side. And before Ronnie Lowe could get over there, they'd put it, Lapointe had scored. That I don't think would happen in Detroit.
No, the boards are way different. Here it's they're more square. You got deeper corners. Where in Olympia, it's egg-shaped, and everything you shoot comes back to the goaltender. So that puck there would have, they wouldn't have scored that goal. But it's just one of the breaks of the game. They got a lucky break. Maybe before we realize it, during the game, we may get a break to even things up.
Dennis, you're on a real young hockey club. A lot of the players playing their first National Hockey League Stanley Cup games. What is the feeling in the dressing room? Are they uptight at all?
No, I don't think so. Like, we're sitting in here before the game and saying, geez, we got nothing to lose. It's a do-or-die situation, but let's go out, give it the best we got, and see what happens. And I think the latter part of the season, when the pressure was to get into second place and the first round of the playoffs, I think the kids have come through. I think they've proved themselves. Whatever we do this year, we've gone so far, it's nothing but experience for those kids. Next year, if you get in the playoffs again, these kids have got a year under their belt. They're going to be that much better, and they're learning. Even tonight, those kids are learning stuff, and they're getting to accept the pressure, and you have to experience that in order to win the Stanley Cup.
Right. I just heard today, Dennis, that I know that you're the player representative for the Red Wings. You're their spokesman as far as the National League is concerned. Player Association's gone on quite a little trip. The players, as I understand, going to Spain to have your meeting sometime this summer.
Well, we're supposed to leave on June 4th, and it's a week trip to go over there, the owners and everybody, and discuss the different things that they're going to adopt for next year and how things are running this year. And I've never been involved in it, so it's going to be a new experience for me. And I'm going over there, I guess, maybe the first year to do more listening than talking, and I'm sort of looking forward to it.
Dennis, you're from a hockey-playing family. Your dad played in my era, and he's a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame. Your brother Brian played in the National League, and you are, what you'd have to say, a traveled hockey player now. In your mid-30s, what is your feeling in the fact that you've had such a terrific year, and the Red Wings have so many kids? Do you feel that you have several years left?
Well, I always believe, Sid, you got to be in good shape, and I think at the present time, I still feel good out there skating and that, and I never was a great speedster from end to end, but I stay in good shape. I've got good endurance, and I feel that barring any major injuries that I can play a few more years. And whether I'm with Detroit or anybody, I feel I can play in the league, and I'm looking forward to it. I still enjoy the game, and I think if it ever gets to be a job to do up the skates and that, or I can't help a club, I think hopefully I'll realize it and get out of it. But as long as I still enjoy playing the game, I'm going to do my best to try play.
Listen, I know that you have been impressed with the people back in Detroit. You make your home there now. What about those fans that we have in Detroit? There's not another city in the world like it.
Well, I was here last year and it was pretty dismal, and things turned around this year, and they set an attendance record this year. But the fans, what they did the other night, the last 2 minutes of the game, was just a standing ovation. We got literally blown out of the game, 8-0. And there's the fans. The whole building is standing up, giving the team a standing ovation. You can't express in words how the guys feel. It really chokes you up. To see the fans are behind you that much. They've backed us all year. We've had a few tough stretches, but the fans have always been there. And I'll tell you, you get fans like that, it makes you go. It's just great to go out there and do your best and try to win for them.
That's nice hearing you say that, Dennis. Listen, let's see if we can get another game back in Detroit. Thanks for coming by. Get in and get your rest and come out and have a good second period.
Thank you, Sid.
Now let's go back up to Bruce Martin.
And I thank you, Sid Abel and Dennis Hextall. And if ever there was a young man who's been an inspiration to a hockey team, I might think it would be Dennis Hextall, who has played so well this season. And if ever a guy gets battered and bruised, game in, game out, and comes back for more every time, it's that same Mr. Hextall. Well, we're midway between the first and second periods here at the Forum in Montreal with a score: the Canadiens 2 and the Detroit Red Wings 1. We'll be back to the Forum in just a moment.
Little Caesar's Pizza, nobody loves it like a kid. It's fun to eat, nobody loves it like Little Caesar's Pizza, nobody loves it like it's my favorite treat. Nobody loves it like a
for our ad in the news and free press TV books for a free pizza.
It's wild. It's Chrysler's great giveaway. Get $100 worth of Chrysler outboard accessories free when you buy a new striped Chrysler outboard 35 through 140 horsepower. And get $50 worth of Chrysler outboard accessories free when you buy a Chrysler 4 through 25. So tear into your Chrysler outboard dealer now, where the savings are great and the giveaway is wild. Offer good, limited time only.
I own this place. But tonight, no more work. Tonight is celebration, because tomorrow I go back to Greece. You know how? Because my friends at Bank of the Commonwealth, they helped me to start this place when other banks do not. Now, I go back to Greece and my cousins, they think I am big shot. I am not big shot, but at Bank of the Commonwealth, they treat me like a big shot.
Big shot.
Trying hardest to help. That's the Bank of the Commonwealth.
Ah, I see what the problem is. You have the bug. Yeah, the CB bug. You want to get into CB, but it is so confusing. You need to see a specialist. CB specialists. They have the know-how to put together and install the right system for you.
Like this new Craig In-AM/FM stereo with 40-channel CB, and it's less than $150.
So take it from Dr. CB. See the specialists. CB specialists. On Royal Oak in Livonia. 10-4? I make a little joke.
It is quite some distance between our telecast broadcast area here at the Forum in Montreal and the ice level, and Sid Abel is now negotiating that, I hope, and will be back with us in time to get the second period underway. This hockey game currently led by Montreal Canadiens 2-1, out shooting the Red Wings, they mentioned, 18-7 in that first period. Some fine work by Ron Lowe. A couple of good breaks along the way, but then, too, the Wings could have had one, too, with Reed Larson, most particularly in the latter moments just prior to the power play goal, and he whipped one that went off the goal post. We were just thinking back today, reminiscing a little bit, that it was a little over 6 months ago that the Red Wings played their first hockey game at Olympia Stadium, Thursday, the 13th of October, and they played a 3-3 tie with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Whether or not it was an omen of things to come, I'm not too sure. The Wings then went right out and played 2 games on the road, both out on the West Coast. They got beaten in the last few moments in the game out in Los Angeles. I think that was 3-2, as I recall, went in and were also beaten by Vancouver. But one of the things in Vancouver that we clipped out of the Vancouver program, and this, the third game the Red Wings played back in October, was written by a Vancouver sports writer and printed in the program there in Vancouver, and indicated that the Red Wings were not only not going to make or win the Stanley Cup, were not even going to be involved in the playoffs, and more than likely, again, would be the last place team in the National Hockey League. Well, they read that over a few times during the course of the season, and I think particularly before the Vancouver games, and it could well have been something of an inspiration to them because, of course, while the Red Wings were in the playoffs and now into the quarterfinals, Vancouver did not make second place, consequently did not make Stanley Cup, and they've had a turnover there already. What turned the Red Wings over? Well, I guess you look first of all at the coach and the general manager of the team, Ted Lindsay, who joined them late in the season. But Ted will be quick to tell you that the change had started before he even got there under Alex Delvecchio, when they signed coach Bobby Crom, who didn't report until this year, when they picked up Reed Larson, when they picked up Greg Jolly, when things started to turn a little bit, though certainly the Wings had a disastrous last half of the season. But gone from the team that we watched a year ago, fellows like Walter McKechnie and Danny Grant, Michel Bergeron, and certainly the Dan Maloney trade recently, and Eddie Jockman, who has helped this club in his season and a half here. And fellows we didn't see a year ago, Andre Saint-Laurent, Perry Miller, Tommy Bergman, Dale McCourt, and Paul Woods, Errol Thompson, and Vaslav Nedomansky. Just some of the reasons that we're sitting here at the Forum about 2.5 weeks after the regular season came to an end. The score, after one period of play, Montreal Canadiens 2, the Detroit Red Wings 1. We'll be back with second period face-off in just a moment.
Our love is strong, but we need the old songs and the thrill that has long departed. It's no disgrace going back to the place where the fun and the chase was started. And so we'll laugh and joke tonight, share a coke tonight, back when rock and roll was king. We'll sing the song we used to sing. When you're singing the song, we'll sing the song.
No matter what kind of car you buy, no matter where you buy it,
Nobody can give you more effective rust-proofing than PolyGuard, the rust-proofing system from Polyoleum, with a positive 5-year limited repair or replace warranty, with no mileage restriction. When you want a new car, see your car dealer. When you want professional rust-proofing, see your Polyoleum professional. Better than all the rust. Check the yellow pages for the Polyoleum dealer nearest you.
You can taste it in our delicious Devil's Food buttercream layer cake. Taste it in our coconut marshmallow layer cake. Taste it in our butterscotch coffee cake. You can taste it in everything Sanders makes. The bit of magic Sanders candy makers put into everything Sanders makes. And you can't taste it anywhere else.
Our guests on the telecasts and broadcasts receive a handsome collection of Gant shirts, whether it's the classic Gant button-down, the famed rugger, or the distinctive sportswear, all express the unique Gant attitude, found in better department and men's stores everywhere. Manner slacks for contemporary styling, comfort and fit. Quality tailoring for work or play. Manner slacks a notch above the rest at fine men's stores everywhere. And the people at English Leather, Sid and myself, would like to present them with this gift set of fine toiletries, all with that great smell of English Leather. English Leather, the official fragrance of the National Hockey League. Out of town, the only score we have, Philadelphia Flyers are leading Buffalo Sabres 1-0 in the game at Philadelphia, and if the Flyers should hold on to win it, they will have moved their way into semifinal play, and Buffalo will have been eliminated.
Well, Buffalo's in a similar case as the Red Wings. Their backs are to the wall, and they're forced to win a game on the road now to get back into the hunt if they're going to continue in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Wings are going to have to do, Bruce, just what they did in game number 2. Come out and see if they can take the play away from this Montreal Hockey Club. I don't know whether they can, but they're still within striking distance in a 2-1 score.
Well, a couple of the Red Wing team doctors, Dr. Muskie, the Red Wing team dentist, and Dr. John Finley, one of the Red Wing doctors, are in attendance at this game tonight, and they are trying to equal the record set by Dr. Vyse and Cosley when they were here just a few games ago, and lo and behold, the Red Wings came up with a victory, and believe it or not, Cosley and By took a great deal of credit for it.
I know, but they would even go ahead of Dr. Cosley and By, because both Dr. Muskie and Dr. Finley were in Atlanta when the Wings won, so they would have a one-game edge if the Wings could win this hockey game and go back to Detroit.
Sid, I think it might be interesting to point out the fact that J.P. LeBlanc played in the first period here as he did in the game Sunday, and has played quite well. Since he came up from the Kansas City team, he captained that club at Kansas City. They did not make playoffs, but they really should have, one would think, because they had 3 members who were named to the All-Star team, and 2 of them we've watched out here tonight, J.P. LeBlanc and Larry Giroux. And then Terry Richardson, the goaltender, made the second team. So we congratulate J.P., Larry, Terry.
He's a good little hockey player. He's very, very smart with the puck, knows what he's doing out there at all times. If anything would be against J.P. LeBlanc, it probably would be his skating. He's not really a speed merchant by any means. He's a good skater, but he doesn't have that burst of speed. We had some people fly up today, too. Buddy Bozar and his family is here from Detroit, and they wanted to say hello to all their folks back in Detroit.
Well, the teams are at full strength and the second period underway. Canadians lead by a goal, and the play goes into the Detroit zone. They go in along the boards. Harper jammed in there by Gainey, and a face-off will stay in the circle to the right of Ron Lowe. Lowe, who faced 18 Montreal shots in the first period, gave up only 2 goals. Oddly enough, one was the first shot fired in his direction, and he didn't have much chance on it as Gainey set up Rajan Houle, who just moved right in. Now the puck came back to Robinson. He whipped a shot high off the glass, and it ended up into the crowd. Then the other goal that was scored by Canadians, as Sid mentioned, he had really no chance on at all as it came off the boards directly to Guy Lapointe, with the Canadians holding a man advantage at the time. And it couldn't have come off better. And Lapointe banged it in. Puck at center ice now, John Hamel. He's pinned out along the boards by Rajan Houle. It's whipped back into the Detroit zone. Knocked down by Harper. Harper handing it off to Dennis Hextall, to Nedemansky, working around Robinson. They go into the Montreal zone. Libet goes to the corner after it, put it out in front, but Savard knocked it away and leads a 4-man rush for Montreal. Down the right side, Houle trying to work around Hamel. Hamel got a pretty good hold on him. And Dennis Hextall took a whack at it. It bounced back to Nedemansky. Coming back out center ice, Nedemansky on the right side to Libet. And Dennis Hextall coming down the boards on the left was in too quickly offside. So the face-off out over the Montreal blue line.
Talking about breaks in hockey, Bruce, when you stop and think, I thought that Dryden had made a save on that big shot of Larson's. They said that it hit the post. The Canadians came right back, and that was the goal they scored, where they scored on the play coming off the backboards to put them ahead 2-1.
Larson drilled another shot from the blue line that's knocked away by Dryden. Kept in by Earl Thompson. He fired one. Oh, and Dryden had to move sharply on that as he grabbed it right mask high. And Earl Thompson unloaded it. So they'll keep the face-off in the circle to the right of the Montreal goal. And the Wings have come on a bit. They have the first two shots of the second period. Saint Laurent, Polonich, and Thompson now. Lafleur played it out center ice. Reed Larson holds it there. Larson then backhands it back into the Montreal end. It goes in behind the Canadian goal with Lapointe in after it. Guy Lapointe turning out on the left side. Lapointe banged it off the boards. It'll be stopped along his own blue line by Reed Larson off to Polonich now. Dennis Polonich has trouble with Lemaire. Played it all the way back into his own zone, and Steve Shutt picked it up. Here's Lemaire putting it out in front. Lafleur, a shot right on. Oh, and a big save by Ron Lowe on a Red Wing mistake. Now it's Polonich coming back in. He wheeled it in behind the Canadian goal. It came back toward the line. Tommy Bergman took a whack at it. He couldn't hold it in, and it slides back to the Detroit line with Larson back after it. Thompson made a good play to control it. He's got Polonich moving. Dennis Polonich firing it in behind the Canadian goal again. And Dryden picked it up and shot it up into the crowd. So the face-off stays in the Montreal end. A pause in the action. Montreal leads 2-1. We'll be back in just a moment.
Make it a time to be happy. Make it a time for a blue smile with the best blue. Blue smiles along with you. When you think of cheer, you kind of think of beer. When you think of beer, let it be a blue. Labatt's Blue.
A mistake deep in Detroit's zone just about cost the Wings a goal. Ronnie Lowe made a just unbelievable leg pad save on a shot that was labeled goal all the way.
Guy Lafleur fires that puck, doesn't he? Now, McCourt won the draw. Larry Giroux fired it in behind the net again. It came off the boards. Cornway checked by Paul Woods. That puck deflected right on the net by McCourt. Oh, and the big save again by Kenny Dryden. And I'll tell you, that could well have been the tying goal.
And that's no doubt his biggest save, because the puck was deflected. It was missing the net entirely, and it was deflected by McCourt and come right up and hit him in the chest. And he grabbed it with his glove, with McCourt coming in for a rebound.
Face off to the right of the Montreal net again. McCourt in against Riseborough. McCourt won the draw. Wood's shot, though, is blocked. And here's Lambert. Right side pass to Cornway, digging over the line. He was tied up by Cameron. Play stays in the Detroit zone out in front of the Red Wing net, and Cameron digs it out there. Ahead now to Paul Woods. He got it out center ice. Dale McCourt goes chasing after it at his own blue line. He hands it off to Woods. Here's Woods winding up with Lahead. Now Paul Woods into the Montreal end, pulled up away from Robinson. Tried to get the pass through, but it's intercepted, and Riseborough starts back. Riseborough back into the Detroit zone with a shot way wide. Puck comes all the way back out center ice. Savard being checked there by Billy Lahead. They hold it in along the boards, and the whistle stops the play. Face-off stays at center ice. And the Wings continue to trail by a goal, 2-1, as we've played 2 minutes, 42 seconds of the second period.
I was just noticing on shots on net, Bruce, the Montreal defensemen in the first period had 8 shots on net, while Detroit had 1, so that's quite a difference. Montreal do get the puck back to their point man, and they really fire the puck at the net.
Now Harper sends it ahead to Saint Laurent over the line. Saint Laurent took a shot. Dryden grabbed it off the top of the net, and he holds on to it. J.P. LeBlanc is on one wing, and Dennis Hall on the other now, with Saint Laurent at center ice. And Sid, if you go back, 5 years, Dennis Hall was on a line in Chicago that set a record in Stanley Cup play, 55 points in 16 games, played along with Pitt Martin and Jim Pappin.
Well, he's the most experienced Stanley Cup player Detroit has, and they're hoping he can score some more goals.
Now Canadians Lapointe comes out center ice. Turned around by Saint Laurent, still went into the Detroit end, but Hamel stopped him and Saint Laurent took the loose puck. Cleared it too far for J.P. LeBlanc. Nyrop sent it back out center ice. Riseborough's pass at center ice taken away by Saint Laurent. Back at his own blue line, Terry Harper. Now he played it behind Hamel. Hamel has to go back after it. He played it not out. Here's Rajan Houle holding it in, moving out in front. The puck slid right to the goal mouth. And it is grabbed there by Ron Lowe, who holds on to it, and a face-off to the right of the Detroit net.
I would think, Bruce, if there's that much difference in hockey clubs, it's the case where the Wings do make mistakes deep in their own zone. The Canadians force you to make mistakes. They move everybody in. Detroit's passing is not as sharp as the Canadians, and Montreal know that. They throw the puck in, move everybody in over the blue line, and force the Wings to make mistakes, and consequently that's causes so many problems.
The only score posted from out of town shows the Philadelphia Flyers at home leading Buffalo Sabres 1-0. Here it's 2-1 Montreal. Early moments of the second period. Gainey sends the pass back toward the line. Lapointe with a shot. Lowe grabs it, drops it off for Tommy Bergman. His pass came along the boards. It'll be kept in. Nyrop took a shot. Lowe knocks that away. Still the Canadians. Gainey plays it to Houle. Houle tried to center it, hit the back of the Detroit net with it. Tommy Bergman heading out of Paul Woods. Here's McCourt moving out center ice. McCourt just took a long shot that deflected to the net. An easy save for Dryden. Now Guy Lapointe ahead to Gainey. Gainey handed it to Nyrop at center ice to Houle. Reed Larson came back to stop that. McCourt is at his own blue line. Dale McCourt ahead to Paul Woods. He was checked. Tommy Bergman picks it up. He's turned around, still worked it to the line. It skipped by ahead, and they whistled it down offside. And they'll come back over the center ice line for the face-off. A pause in the action. The score 2-1 Montreal. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hey, fellas, look. A pickup rally. Hey, we were going hunting. Hey, buddy! Mind if we enter? Why not? Do it! Whoa, rocks ahead! No sweat. My Jeep pickup's got great ground clearance. You can't go up there! Sure I can. This Jeep pickup's equipped with Quadra-Track. Jeep's automatic four-wheel drive. No other pickup's got that. Did we make it? Make it? Pretty good, huh, guys? Just what we need on a hunting trip.
Come to Jeep Country in a Jeep pickup. We wrote the book on four-wheel drive.
This is Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel with you from the Forum in Montreal. Our producer and director all season long, Marvin Muse. And the play is at center ice. Dennis Hextall turning with it. Now Hextall over the line, wheeled it in behind the Montreal goal. Netamansky goes to the corner after it, but didn't get the puck, and the Canadians will come back out. Here's a quick pass, and John Hamel went low to take it away from LaFleur. Hamel played it behind Nick Libet. That's going to go the length of the ice, and there'll be an icing call against the Wings, and the play will come back into the Detroit end.
Islanders in Toronto are 0-0. Philadelphia 1, Buffalo 0. Second period.
Well, win, lose, or draw this hockey game, the Wings will be on their way back to Detroit City Airport. I would guess leaving around midnight or so, and it's about a 2-hour flight. So it'll be in the neighborhood of 2 o'clock. There's Savard, a shot, knocked away and behind the net. Terry Harper, he's being checked there, played it out on the left side for Libet. Nick Libet dumped it, but not out. Savard keeps it in. John Hamel went back after it. Houle got there. It's played in behind the Detroit net. Netamansky's pass broken up by LaFleur. He's on that puck every second. John Hamel takes it now. Off to Netamansky, right out in front of Ron Lowe. Netamansky retreats back of his own net again. Still trying to work away from LaFleur. Netamansky over on the right side. The referee got it tangled up in his skates. Harper tapped it loose, and now Netamansky sends Libet out. Here's Nick Libet at center ice with Hextall trailing. The pass was way behind Hextall, though, and the Canadians come back. Guy Lafleur had trouble with the linesman, and the play went in. There's a shot right on. It's grabbed off by Ron Lowe. I was looking for an offside that didn't happen. Lafleur tried to put it out in front. Netamansky kept it to the line, but here's Robinson circling in behind the Detroit goal again. He centered it, and it went by everybody and comes out to center ice. Back after it, Guy Lafleur. Lafleur's pass. He was stopped by Hextall. Errol Thompson clearing it back into the Canadian zone. Dryden out of the net. Played it over on the left wing. Riseborough just off the bench. Flips a long shot that Lowe clears off the boards. Tommy Bergman goes after it. Now he hands it to Reed Larson over on the right side to Polonic. Center ice to Saint Laurent. A quick pass, and Saint Laurent held up just long enough to put Errol Thompson offside. So they come back center ice for the faceoff. Dennis Hextall was Sid's guest between the first and second periods.
What a fine gentleman he is. I don't think you could meet a nicer player playing hockey than Dennis Hextall.
Saint Laurent, Thompson, and Polonich with Larry Giroux and Al Cameron now for Detroit. Pierre Mondu, Cornwallis, and Riseborough on the left side. Puck came back into the Canadian zone. Guy Lapointe bringing it out. Firing it off to the side of the Detroit net, Ron Lowe. Leaves it there for Saint Laurent. His pass broken up by Mondu. Cameron picks it up now. He starts Errol Thompson out. Long center ice pass. Polonich over the line. He took a shot that Dryden grabs, and he holds on to, so the faceoff stays this time in the Montreal end. We have played 6 minutes, 19 seconds of the second period. It's 2-1 Montreal. Bruce Norris, the president of the Detroit Red Wings, in attendance of the hockey game tonight. He was a pretty pleased gentleman when he left the Forum the last time out. Saw the Red Wings go back into Olympia Stadium and lose a couple. Bobby Crom, who has had a great first year, and if he doesn't come out as a coach of the year in the National Hockey League, I'm going to demand a recount. Play goes in behind the Montreal net. Nyrop being checked by Saint Laurent. Nyrop played it out to center ice. Al Cameron has it there. Cameron dumped it ahead. Saint Laurent took it over the line, trying to go around Lapointe. He did the first time. Lapointe moved in, checked him again. Saint Laurent back to Cameron with a shot. Knocked down. Here's Polonich with it. He scores! And the Red Wings have tied the game at 2-2.
Well, there's a case where they just put a little pressure on inside the Montreal zone. Al Cameron picked up a loose puck right at the blue line. St. Laurent did all the spade work along the boards, threw the puck out to Cameron. Cameron took a shot that come right out perfect for Dennis Polonich, and he slid it right along the ice on the long side and beat Dryden. Very similar to the goal that Nedomansky scored. A shot along the ice, not that hard, but caught Dryden coming away out to cover the angle and beat him on the long side.
So it's 2-2 with Polonich's first point of the series. Here's Gainey moving back into the Detroit zone. Put it out in front, and Tommy Bergman covered up. Now Tommy Bergman played it behind his net. It comes to Reed Larson. He hands it back to Bergman, still deep in the Detroit end. Tommy Bergman handing it back to Larson. He banged it off the boards. Billy Lahead goes after it. He lost his stick. He kicked it into the corner. Going in after it was Jean Houle. Now Houle worked around Paul Woods. Played a pass at center ice. That's tipped away. Dale McCourt, three of the Wings moving in. Here's McCourt with a shot, and it was blocked by Engblom. Play still stays. Here's coming around McCourt, and he took a shot that's knocked away on the short side by Dryden. And the Wings had two other great chances. Now it's Rajan Houle coming back. Over the line, Jarvis. Jarvis being checked by Tommy Bergman, picked it up again. Lahead lost his stick again. Play is in the Montreal zone. Woods couldn't get out. Gainey took a shot. That's knocked away. Now Woods takes the bouncing puck and starts out with a pass to Dale McCourt. Three of the Wings moving in. Here now Reed Larson going to the corner. Larson put it off to the side of the net and went right through the skates of Paul Woods. They play it back out center ice. Nedomansky back after it. Now the Wings have come to life. Quick pass ahead to Larson with a shot. Oh, and getting a piece of that Dryden, and it bounced right back out in front of him. Engblom takes it to the corner, shoots it out center ice, went right by Larson. They're going to wave an icing call as Sabal is back to touch it. And the play will come right back into the Montreal zone. A pause in the action with a score tied 2-2. We'll be back in just a moment.
Ah, the endless possibilities of Peschke meats and your imagination. Imagine a new way to enjoy that summertime standby, Peschke hot dogs. Prepare them your favorite way. Add bits of green pepper or whatever you like to your favorite kind of melted American processed cheese and pour. Your imagination makes it possible. Peschke makes it perfect.
Peschke makes it perfect, 'cause Peschke really cares.
Gift certificates for our interviewed guests are provided by Osmond's Menswear. Osmond's with 5 locations: the Tel 12 Mall in Southfield, Westbourne Mall, the Tel Huron Center, the Tel Plaza in Warren, and Meadowbrook Village Mall in Rochester. Game is a 2-2 tie. The puck sent down the ice again into the Detroit zone. Going after it, Harper, he lost it to Steve Shutt. Shutt took a whack at it, it's loose again. Another save, and the net is empty, and Lafleur knocked it wide of the goal. Canadians had 3-4 great opportunities, and they just missed a wide-open net. Lafleur's done it twice tonight. Jean Hamel goes into the corner after it, holds it in along the boards. Hamel coming out with it. Lafleur knocked to the ice. They still hold the play in the Detroit zone. Lafleur dug it out. He's pinned to the boards by Hextall and Harper. Hextall kicked that puck in behind the net. Hamel going in after it. How the Canadians didn't score in that one, I don't know. Here's Steve Shutt sending it back on the line. Nyrop with a shot. Hextall blocked it. And Hextall was held up and couldn't get moving. As Nyrop stopped him at the line, Nick Libet comes back to his own blue line after it. Dropping it for Jean Hamel. Now Terry Harper. Harper a long pass. That bounced off Lemaire. Jean Hamel cleared it out. Libet couldn't hold it. And Guy Lapointe starts back into the Detroit zone. He shoved off the puck by Hamel, who dumped Lapointe to the ice. Play goes off to the side. Canadians have it in the Detroit zone. Back to the line. It's played in behind the Detroit net. Out in front of the Red Wing goal. Hamel and Lambert battling. And Libet picks up the loose puck. Fired it out center ice. Nyrop has it there. Now it's Nedomansky digging it away. Nedomansky a left side pass. Libet moving in with a shot. And he fired that just wide. And actually Dryden moved late on it. Now back at his own blue line is Nedomansky. Nedomansky dumps it out center ice. Hextall has to be a little tired. It was played away. Lambert has it. The play covering a cup. No, I think they've called an extra man on the ice. I'm going to wait and find out about that. But the linesman, Gerard Gauthier, pointed over to the Montreal bench. And I believe that's what we have.
Well, they did have a man standing out. He wasn't in the play. Ordinarily, they don't call penalties like this, but they had a fellow with the door open standing on the ice, putting 7 players out there.
So the Red Wings will have the extra man. A pause in the action. The score is tied at 2-2. We'll be back in just a moment. Have tied the game at 2-2, and now they pick up the extra man. Scotty Bowman a little unhappy. Canadians argued vehemently with the linesman who called it, Gerard Gauthier. And a bench penalty for too many men on the ice at 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Harold Thompson and Dennis Polonich on either side of Saint Laurent, with Larson and McCourt at the points. Power play combination for the Wings. Reed Larson at his own blue line hands it off to Dale McCourt. Ahead to Saint Laurent. He fired it right back into his own zone, and Larson went back after it. Gainey took it away. And then Saint Laurent has Thompson moving, one man back. That's Lapointe. He went over the line, and Lapointe dumped him. And the play is fired back to the blue line, not out. Larson holds it in. It's knocked away, though. Here come the Canadians back. Moving out with it now, Guy Lapointe into the Detroit zone. Lapointe trying to work around McCourt in behind the Detroit net. He centered it, and Saint Laurent covers up. Andre Saint Laurent goes in behind his own goal. Now Saint Laurent's pass to Dale McCourt. McCourt heading into the Montreal zone. Dale McCourt wound up, faked the shot, handed it back to Polonich. He took the shot right on Thompson, a rebound shot, and that's knocked away. Saint Laurent played it in behind the goal. It goes to the corner. Thompson banged it. The puck was knocked down with a high stick. They'll keep the play in the Montreal zone. And I'll tell you, the Wings again came close, Sid.
Let me tell you, they could have a couple more goals. Dryden has had to be real sharp on a couple occasions. The rebound come off Dryden's pads and just bounced out a little too far for Thompson, but he come awful close to being able to reach it and put it back in.
And he did it on a backhander, which is one of his big moves. Well, 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining in the bench penalty being served by Lambert. They'll bring the face-off to the left side of the Montreal goal. Lineups remain the same. This time it's driven into the corner. Larry Robinson in behind his own goal. Cleared it out to the right side, and Lemaire shoots it down the ice. Going back after it, Reed Larson pulling away from Robinson's check. Larson a center ice pass to Saint Laurent. Andre Saint Laurent into the Montreal zone. Dropped it back for Reed Larson, but he was checked. Canadians will pick it up, and Savard skating with it. Now cleared it back into the Detroit zone. 35 seconds left in the penalty. Game tied at 2-2. Here's Dennis Polonich. Libet hands it off to Reed Larson. He fired from the blue line, and Dryden knocked that away. Polonich went in after it, played it in behind the Canadian goal. Robinson is there. Sent it back toward the line, and Montreal's Houle cleared it back to the Detroit end. Back after it, Dale McCourt. Now McCourt, a quick pass. Nedemansky let it go. The Canadians will shoot it back to the Detroit line. Reed Larson heads back down the ice into the Montreal zone. Nedemansky picked it up. Moving in after it was Nick Libet. It was knocked away from him. Now Larson turned around. Tommy Bergman tried to hold it in, couldn't do it. And back on the ice, Lambert. He play is offside as Lambert came out of the penalty box, picked up the puck, and the pass had covered 2 lines. So a pause of the action with the score tied. Detroit 2, Montreal 2. We'll be back in just a moment. Both teams are at full strength. The face-off will be right at the Montreal blue line. J.P. LeBlanc moves in now with Billy Lahead and Paul Woods as McCourt was out there the 2 minutes of the power play. Now Guy Lafleur swings it over on the left side. Nyrop goes in behind his own goal. Big Bill Nyrop clearing it out. It bounced away from LaRouche, but picked up when the Canadians move out with Guy Lapointe. Lapointe fired it long and wide of the Detroit net. J.P. LeBlanc steering it into the corner for Giroux. Giroux's kicking away at it. It came loose, and then it was J.P. LeBlanc that went in and bowled over. Steve Shutt came up with a puck and sent it out center ice. Billy Lahead almost got to it. LeBlanc does. J.P., though, is checked, and the 2 players go to the ice. The crowd a little unhappy. Now here's LaRouche coming back in. His pass picked off by Lafleur. He goes to the corner with Giroux chasing him. Steve Shutt digging it out, played it to the opposite side. Paul Woods bumping LaRouche. The puck came loose to Lapointe. Here's Guy Lapointe. He put it right to the goal mouth. Lowe knocked it away. Woods went back after it. It came back to the line. Guy Lafleur hands it off now to Nyrop. He moved in with a shot, knocked away by Ron Lowe. And LeBlanc starts back down at Billy Lahead, and there's going to be a penalty coming up. Out in front of the Detroit goal, Guy Lapointe was sent to the ice. And now Detroit will play short a man as Tony Bergman goes in. So a pause in the action. The score tied 2-2. We'll be back in just a moment.
Did you? Well, the Canadians always run their defensemen right out in front of the net to try and block or screen for their shots from the point. Lapointe got in there, and Bergman got just a little too tangled with him. Really turned him around, then finally pushed him down, and Wally Harris, the referee, decided to call a penalty.
So it's an interference call to Bergman at 12 minutes and 57 seconds. And the Wings have McCourt and Paul Woods with Larson and Harper. Canadians have Rajan Houle, Lemaire, and Cornway up front with Robinson and Lafleur at the points. Now Montreal moving out with Lemaire. Lemaire firing it off the corner, going after it. Larson, he took a whack at it and bangs it back out to center ice. And Lafleur back after it. He almost lost it. Paul Woods did knock it away. Then Reed Larson is at his own blue line, handing it off to Harper. Terry Harper waited long enough and then rolls it back into the Montreal zone, and the Canadians go back after it. 40 seconds of the penalty has gone by as Robinson winds up a right side pass. Cornway being chased by Paul Woods. Woods just took it away from him. And Paul Woods doing the job. Shoots it all the way back down the ice. 1:10 remaining in Bergman's penalty. Now the Canadians move out again. Puck bounces off to Houle. He golfs it in behind the Detroit net. Lowe stopped it back of his own goal. Larson tried to clear it out, didn't do it. Houle holds it in. Going into the opposite corner now is Paul Woods. Woods with a rolling puck. They take it in along the boards. Woods trying to hold it there. He does. And a face-off stays to the left side of the Detroit goal. 50 seconds remaining in the Detroit penalty. 5 minutes, 53 seconds to go in the second period.
And Reed Larson has started to come on a lot stronger than he did the first 2 or 3 games in the series. Paul Woods, just the way he can skate, he just causes things to happen. He chased Cornwire, and he's got to be their fastest skater. Paul Woods just took the puck away from him and flipped it back down the ice.
Boy, what an addition he's been to the Detroit Red Wings. I was telling Danny Gallivan prior to the start of the game that if they have any more like him that they don't need, I'm sure Detroit will be pleased to know.
And Sammy Pollock, the general manager of the Montreal Canadiens, he doesn't make too many mistakes, but this is one time that Ted Lindsay really took advantage of a mistake of Pollock's.
Face off to the left of the Detroit goal. Wings won the draw, but it was whistled down by the referee just as Larson was getting set to fire it down the ice, so they'll go through it again. Off to the left of the Detroit net. Mondu and against McCourt. Mondu, Lambert, and Lafleur up front now with Savard and Lapointe. Reed Larson takes it to the corner. He just sent a weak pass along the boards. Goes back into the corner. Larson in after it again. This time he's going to hold it. It's knocked away, though. Here's Lafleur in behind the Detroit net, being chased by McCourt. McCourt took him in along the boards, kicked the puck back to the line. Here's Savard. He wound up for a shot, kicked away. And it came back to Woods. Woods, though, lost his stick, and Lafleur turns with it. Guy Lafleur. Woods playing without a stick, and the play broken up by Larson, and Larson dumps it down the ice. 15 seconds remaining in the Detroit penalty. Guy Lapointe winding up behind his own net. Now Lapointe, a center ice pass to Lafleur. They move into the Detroit zone. Was broken up by Larson and comes back out center ice. Canadians start back in again. Mondu, though, had to turn around. Now he's got Lapointe moving in. The penalty is over. The Wings are back at full strength. Lapointe played it off to Mondu. He rolled it right out in front. It bounced to the opposite side. Libet took a whack at it. Now Larson's pass broken up. It's kicked back into the Montreal zone, and the Canadian Savard. He starts Lapointe out. Guy Lapointe's pass tipped off Libet, came to Lambert. Now the Canadians, LaRouche, played it back into the Detroit zone, going back after it Larson, and Larson just shoots at the length of the ice. There'll be an icing call against Detroit as Engblom goes back to touch it. But the Wings killed off the Montreal power play. And Nick Libet, who has 3 goals in the series, Sid, has played extremely well.
Well, Nicky Libet has had a terrific season, Bruce. You know, we've always spoken, or I have at least said, that he's considered one of the finest defensive hockey players in hockey. Well, this year he also turned very offensive. I mean, Nick Libet doesn't, as a rule, score 25, 23, 25 goals, but he helped this hockey club along with Hextall. They were like the 2 leaders coming down to the wire to get into the playoffs.
And I think, too, that the addition of Nedomansky out on the right side of this line has meant a great deal to both Hextall and Libet.
And that happened right here at Montreal, the last game of the year, or the second last game of the year. Wright got hurt, and Nedomansky moved up.
Now the play is in the Detroit zone. LaRouche being checked by Hamel. Here's Gainey with a shot. Oh, and Lowe came up with a big save on that one. Puck went up into the crowd off the stick of Larry Robinson. The face-off comes out over the Detroit blue line. I'll tell you, each of the 2 goaltenders have played hot hands in this second period.
The Wings seem to get in trouble when they're deep in their zone for some reason or other. They get their defensemen out around trying to check fellas or hold them off behind the net, and they're making little one-handed passes out to other Canadians that are out in the open spot. Lowe has made several real key saves.
Now the play bounces back to the Montreal blue line. Engblom goes back after it, hands it off to Robinson. He played it to LaRouche. Now Larry Giroux took it away at his own blue line, took a long shot. Dryden has no trouble with that, and he drops it off for Engblom. Off to Bob Gainey. Nedomansky checking him. Robinson lost it to Hextall. Hextall was dumped, and there'll be a penalty coming up to Robinson. And I'll tell you, the tripping penalty was called with Robinson's stick tangled up in the skates of Hextall. So now the Wings, who have not been too potent on the power play, have another opportunity.
Well, anytime you can get an extra man against the Canadians, Robinson, he knows right from the minute this happens, he puts his stick out and he really hooked Hextall's skate. He may have even put the blade of a stick through Hextall's skate to pull him down. He turned right around, let his stick drop, but he knew he was getting a penalty. Now, if the Wings could just jump on one of these advantages when they have the man advantage out there, see what the Canadians could do then if Detroit could go out in front.
Robinson off for tripping at 16 minutes and 1 second. Canadians have Savard and Lapointe, Jarvis, and Gainey. Puck came out center ice with Nedomansky back after it, handing it off to Reed Larson ahead to Hextall. Now they carry into the Montreal zone. Hextall going to the corner, pulling up there, back to Larson at the line. He hands it off to McCourt with a shot. That was blocked. McCourt dug it out a second time in the corner to Libet. Nick Libet played it back of the goal to Hextall. Dennis Hextall has it there. Hextall handed it to Libet. It bounced right out in front as Libet didn't get much on the shot. McCourt keeps it in. Now Libet off the circle, tried to center it, and that again was blocked. And the Canadians pick it up and shoot it down the ice. And 1:20 remaining in the Montreal penalty as Reed Larson winds up behind his own goal. Now Larson bringing it out to center ice. Played it to Nedomansky. They take it into the Montreal zone. Nedomansky is shot. The puck loose, but it bounced away. A centering pass by Libet came all the way back to the line. Dale McCourt handed it back, flew over the stick of Libet. Libet picks it up, sends it back the corner again to Nedemansky, still deep in the Montreal end. It came back now to Larson. Here's Libet. Libet put it right through the goal crease. McCourt stops it at the left point. Dale McCourt holding it there. Now McCourt being checked. Plays it back to Nedemansky. Back to Dale McCourt. He faked the shot. Played it off the boards. Larson moves in to hold it. Reed Larson sending it back to McCourt. He fanned on the shot. And the Canadians' Houle picks it up and shoots it down the ice. And the Wings were weaving the pattern, but just not getting the shots away. A half a minute left in the penalty as McCourt heads out to center ice. Now McCourt goes over the line. Dale McCourt, he was checked. The play was whistled down offside. They'll bring it back out over the Montreal line for the face-off. 22 seconds remaining in the Canadian penalty to Larry Robinson. 2:21 in the second period.
And that's by far the best power play that the Wings have had in the last couple of games. They moved the puck around just beautiful from one pointman to the other, back into the corner to Libet. Libet swished that one across the front of the net. Had Hextall been able to get a stick down, he was out there partially covered, but he made a real effort to try and deflect it in.
Do a little repair work along the ice back in the Montreal zone. Now the play will come out over the Canadian blue line. 22 seconds remaining in Robinson's penalty. Guy Lapointe shoots it the length of the ice. Ron Lowe stops it in front of the Detroit net, hands it off to Tommy Bergman. Somebody throwing something onto the ice, and that's what the public address system is suggesting be stopped. Here now is Dennis Polonich carrying into the Montreal zone. Pulled up in the corner. He's got Giroux back at the line. Larry Giroux with a shot. That was grabbed off by Dryden, and he holds on as the penalty to Robinson expires, and the Canadians back at full strength. Well, around Detroit lately, I know you've been hearing a song called Ted and Bobby's Boys, and it's been a fun thing, and we have put pictures to words and music, and we'll be having a little fun with that between the second and third periods of this hockey game.
I thought possibly you were the one that did the singing, Bruce.
Oh, if you heard me sing, you wouldn't be hearing it. Lemaire, Lafleur, and Shutt now for Montreal. The Wings, Saint Laurent, Polonich, and Thompson. The play in the Canadian zone. Puck is not yet dropped by the linesman. And three Montreal players come in to instruct Gerard Gauthier on how it's done as he waves Lemaire away. And so Saint Laurent. Saint Laurent dumped the puck into the corner. Robinson swings it along the boards on the right side. It was stopped at the line by Tommy Bergman. Came out center ice, and Bergman back after it. Now Termy a right side pass. Polonich bumped in along the boards right in front of the Montreal bench. Canadians came up with a puck. Here's Lafleur. He took a shot from center ice. Low blocks that. Rebound covering up was Tommy Bergman, but the Wings don't get it out. It came right out and hitting the goalpost. Steve Shutt deflected it off the goalpost to the right of Lowe. They go into the corner after it. It's loose again. Here's Shutt. He was dumped, and Harold Thompson followed up. He played it high off the glass. Canadians still have control. Here's Lemaire. Lemaire with a shot, and Tommy Bergman blocked that. And Harold Thompson took it off the boards. They have whistled the play down, and there is a slashing call against Detroit. And it looks to be Dennis Polonich who's going to go in.
Well, the Wings got a little careless in their own zone again. Let Lafleur control the puck. Lafleur just kept moving around, and instead of somebody really being serious about checking him, they give him too much ice, and eventually, to get things quieted down, I guess Dennis had to slash at somebody, and Wally Harris caught him. And the Wings pick up another penalty.
Penalties now are 5 Montreal, 4 Detroit. All minors. Canadians have a power play goal. The Wings haven't really looked that strong with their power play opportunities. So with 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining to be played, Polonich off for slashing at 18:45 of this second period. Wings won the draw. Harper picked it up but didn't get it out. It was stopped by Lapointe. He played it off the side. A pass knocked away. Still the Canadians keep it in. Here's Lapointe back at the blue line. Took the shot and it's deflected off the side of the net. Larson cleared it to the boards. Canadians still control it. Picking it up now, Steve Shutt back on the line to Lapointe. He handed the other side. Robinson dumping it off the boards into the corner. Reed Larson picked it up there, didn't get it out. It was knocked around still. Finally, McCourt slides it back to the Montreal blue line. Paul Woods checking Robinson out at center ice. Woods knocked it away. He comes up with the puck. Played it back to his own blue line to Reed Larson. 35 seconds to go in the second period, and Larson shoots it into the Montreal zone. 29 seconds here now. Canadian Steve Shutt. He's checked right at center ice by Woods, who took it away. McCourt's pass, though, didn't get through. Played back out at center ice, and there's Woods again, driving it back into the Montreal end. 15 seconds to go in the period. 2-2 tie. Canadians have the extra man. Here's Larry Robinson along the boards. He was checked by Harper, and it comes back out center ice. And Robinson really gave Harper a whack in the back of the head as he was preventing the Canadian player from coming back. And the Canadians finally do send it in offside. Well, in the second period at Buffalo, the Philadelphia Flyers leading Buffalo 2-1. That's at Philadelphia. Now it's 3-1.
Here's a case where Lapointe throws the puck in, and Ron Lowe makes the save. It bounces back out to Lemaire, and he shoots it again, and it went off the post, the far post, on a little dribbler.
Tell you, Harper, he just had a grip on Robinson, wasn't going to let go, and he created the offside. So we have only 3 seconds remaining in the period. The Wings should fight that off, and so when the third period opens, there will be 45 seconds remaining in Polanic's penalty. There's a long shot from center ice by Lapointe, knocked away by Lowe, and Detroit gets the only goal of the second period. So the Red Wings have fought their way right back into it. And that's it, the end of 2 periods of play from here at the Forum with a score tied at 2-2. We'll return to the Forum in just a moment.
Putting on our winter wings, enjoy the freedom skiing brings. Snow and slopes, let us fly. We're shadows against the sky. And then we're touching the ground. Good times all around. It's a good time and you're happy. It's a good time for a blue. Time for smiling. Say the that's blue. Smiles with you. Smile along with you. Smile.
Jimmy the Greek's column is syndicated in over 200 newspapers. I write about winners. When it comes to mufflers, my choice is Tuffy, because Tuffy can install your muffler usually in 20 minutes or less. And Tuffy's tough. Once you install a Tuffy muffler, you'll never have to worry about a muffler again. I've got better things to do than to worry about mufflers.
Yeah, the banks are all alike. They say they want to help, but where are they when you need them?
When I needed help, they told me that I didn't have enough of my money to get any of their money.
Sure, you guys have been banking with the wrong banks. The Bank of the Commonwealth, they helped me send my kid through college. Braces for my daughter's teeth. My wife's car. In fact, I get so much help from my bank, my family thinks I'm made of money.
Here, let's see you make this into money.
Trying hardest to help. That's the Bank of the Commonwealth.
Just like my family.
No matter what kind of car you buy, no matter where you buy it, nobody can give you more effective rust-proofing than PolyGuard, the rust-proofing system from Polyoleum, with a positive 5-year limited repair or replace warranty with no mileage restriction. When you want a new car, see your car dealer. When you want professional rust-proofing, see your Polyoleum professional. Better than all the rust. Check the yellow pages for the Polyoleum dealer nearest you.
And the game is tied 2-2. The Detroit Red Wings, Montreal Canadiens, after 2 periods of play here at the Forum in Montreal. And Sid, while you were making your way back up the stairs here at the Forum after your first period interview with Dennis Hextall, we were commenting that it was a little over 6 months ago, Thursday the 13th of October, that the Red Wings played their first game of the season, a game that ended with a 3-3 tie with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's been quite a 6 months since that time.
It's just been wonderful. They've been an exciting hockey club all season long, both at home and on the road. And they're not through yet, Bruce. They've got 20 minutes now to battle to see if we're going to go back and play in Detroit.
Okay, Sid, well, I know that you and I have both heard, along with a lot of other folks, the song called Bob and Teddy's Boys. Maybe not the most professional sound I've ever heard in the world of music, but a fun thing. It's played quite a bit during the last few weeks over WJR in the Motor City. The song written by Ken Phillips and sung by Jimmy Lantz and a group of the boys he gathered around the WJR studios. Andy Kendall, the TV producer at WWJ Television, took the music and he added some appropriate pictures for, I guess, what you could call a nostalgic look at Ted and Bobby's Boys.
Here's to you, Ted and Bobby's Boys. Red Wing fans, rise up, really make some noise. Win or lose, you're a fighting lot. Ted and Bobby's Boys, give it all you've got. Red Wing fever spreads on both sides of the border. Glory days ahead, 'cause you've got what it takes. You've got to skate, 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 till every period ends. You've got to shoot, 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 till that goal light shines again. Here's to you, here's to Ted and Bobby's Boys. Red Wing fans, rise up, really make some noise. Win or lose, win or lose, you're a fighting lot. Ted and Bobby's Boys, give it all you've got. Ted and Bobby's Boys, give it all you've got.
The Vienna Boys Choir with Ted and Bobby's Boys. It's quite a thing, and it's been quite a season. Sid and I have talked time and time again, I know, about some of the folks who have made this a fun season for us. Certainly, Sid, the players on this Detroit Red Wing hockey team, I think we have to thank them to the very last man. They have provided us with a lot of fun and making our telecasting so much easier and more fun this season.
They certainly have, Bruce. They're a fine bunch of fellows. I've enjoyed traveling. After all, I've been going up and down the pike for 40 years in professional hockey, and this group has been a fun group. And of course, we got to mention Bobby Crom and Al Coates and fellows that have traveled with the club so much. Now Bud Lynch in the playoffs. They are just terrific hosts and terrific people to travel with.
And certainly our thanks do go to Bud Lynch, who on the home games has been such a tremendous help to us, and the away games now too, along with Al Coates and, as you mentioned, Ted Lindsay and Bobby Crom, and the two fellas in the dressing room who've just worked with us and cooperated all season long. I speak of Lefty Wilson and Danny Olsevich, who have been a great help to us. So we'll return to the Forum here in Montreal in just a moment. Our guests receive a handsome collection of Gant shirts, whether it's the classic Gant button-down, the famed rugger, or distinctive sportswear. All express the unique Gant attitude found in better department and men's stores everywhere. Manor slacks for contemporary styling, comfort, fit, quality till